Hi guys, today we talk about using HTMX with Shoelace framework agnostic web components in an example app. So let's go. This is basically an extension of the blog post that I have written recently. So if you're curious, go and read the blog post. I will link it down below. And before going into the technical details of what we will cover today, let's see how this example app looks and how it behaves. Yeah, so this is essentially more or less what it is, and what do we have here, how it was implemented. So it is an HTMX app, so there is no front-end back-end distinction, but we do need to have a few static files, and because we also use Tailwind and Shoelace Web Components, it's quite useful to have a distributable with a few bundles. So because of that, we basically have two folders, app and static, and in the static app we have all things that are static, which in our case is a few dependencies. So mostly Shoelace, we have web components here that we use. It's a collection of web components. We have HTMX library also here to manage dependencies, front-end dependencies in one place. We also have Tailwind as dev dependency because it's only used during build to generate a CSS file, and we have rollup basically that helps us to create this minified bundle. For more interesting things, what do we have here? We have Tailwind config. It looks for changes in app folder. There we will have app. We go here in a while. Style CSS with our styles. We mostly use Tailwind. We have a custom font here, and we also have overridden many variables. Most of them they come from Shoelace. We'll go there, but it's quite tricky actually to style Shoelace Web Components because they use Shadow DOM, Shadow Document Object Model, and we need to do things like that. These are CSS shadow parts. Yes, so unfortunately quite a few new abstractions. We go there in the right moment. For now, let's see what else we have here. We have rollup config, and basically we take single index.js, where in turn we have a Shoelace component imported. So more or less how it works is we import here a few Shoelace components, only those that we want to use to minimize our bundle size, and because they are important here, and we create a bundle from this index.js file. Their source code will be included in our distributable, which is a collection of bundle files. Here we also do this magic, which basically tells Shoelace where to find its assets, icons in our case. They also need to be included in the distributable, and some of the components they use it. In our case, I think it's only select, and we do need to set this up. And we also have Shoelace CSS. There are many CSS custom variables defined here. This is also needed for default of Shoelace components to work, basically. And here we just have the rollup config. So for interesting things, we copy the Shoelace CSS, and we both copy Shoelace assets and also HTMX dependency we have here. And obviously we create one of our bundles from index.js file that we just went over. And yeah, I think that's it for the static part. We are in the static directory. We can install dependencies. So I have them, and right now let's build the bundle. It's in the readme and package.json. Let's do npm run build. It will build the distributable. So here we have it. We have our own CSS minimized. So Tailwind classes and our own Shoelace one. As you can see, there are lots of Shoelace variables. They're used to customize the Shoelace components. I don't think we have classes here. Yeah, and they have some parts as well. Index.js is our bundle. In Shoelace we have assets, as I said, and in HTMX we just have HTMX source. So this is mostly it for static. But since we are using Tailwind for local development, it's better to run this command because it builds distributable. Then it watches our app directory for changes for CSS. Changes as described here. So let's have it here. And right now let's go to the app. So what do we have in the app? Yeah, and for one thing that I have forgotten to mention is we have custom fonts in assets directory. They are not in the bundle because we don't need to do anything with them. We just serve them from this directory. Yeah, but going back to the app, so I've written it in Node using Express.js, but it's only because it was simpler for me. For this particular case, it doesn't matter. It's an HTMX app, so it only requires to have an HTTP server that returns either HTML or HTML parts. And we have a few files here. So in the app we have entry to the app. We have port, this distributable directory, assets, and one generic endpoint basically to return distributable files or assets, or the main page. And for the main page we have HTML based on the categories from the books module. We go there in a while, but more or less what I wanted to show you here is that we're building HTML in the JavaScript code. We have some custom Shoelace components, scoped JavaScript. This I will also explained in a while, and we return partial or full or partial HTML. Full if this is the first entry of the user to our app. Partial if we are just mutating parts of the our HTML. We also go over there. Right now I just wanted to show you more or less what is here. In the web we have some utils, so init.js and a few utils functions like this one. Yes, and for more important things, we have returned full HTML page here. So here we are rendering full HTML page. This is our main page, because this is single page application, although it's written in HTMX. And as you can see here, we have dependency on static assets and distributable that we built in this folder. So we are referencing here Shoelace CSS, style CSS. So obviously I didn't support hashing here, but usually in the distributable, the production ready distributable, we would generate those files with some kind of hash or timestamp to enable their caching and versioning. So here we would also need to be aware of the current timestamp or version of this distributables. We preload one of the fonts here, main font. I mean regular, we have one font, but in the regular bold and italic variations, we have some init.js, which we just inline. It is defined here. It does a few useful things. We'll also go over here. We have body. We have error dialog, and basically this part is changed by as we change the current page in our app. Yeah, and here we also have JavaScript. This is our JavaScript from with the Shoelace components, and here we have HTMX part. Yeah, that's mostly it for the fixed overview. I think we can also install dependencies and run the app basically. Alright, so I have installed it, and right now we basically need to run npm start. We have it, it should work. Let's see. I go to localhost, and it doesn't work. Let's see, maybe I have HTTPS here. Yeah, I had HTTPS clearly, so here we have our app. As you can see, the local host, it returned the full HTML. So we have, let's make it wider. We have all things that we just went over in the code. So CSS files, font, our script, and HTML, but as you can see, it's with the body is filled with some content. We go over here, give me just a while, and here, let's see what it is. Yeah, so it's the checkbox icon for the, I think for the select Shoelace component. And what we can also here is, maybe let's disable cache. What about the sizes of those things, guys? So our index.js, as you can see, it's not that small actually, and we don't have our code here. We just import Shoelace components, and it's not that small actually. especially compared to the HTMX, which is just 50 kilobytes. This is not zipped, not compressed, so it will be smaller in the production setup, but yeah, but still, it's not that small actually. And yes, we have Shoelace CSS here, lots of the variables. Yes, but let's maybe see what happens on some of the actions. So you have select here, you can select, and this select is a shoelace component. Where we have, you can see maybe this would be the best. How it changes when we select something. We have it here. It uses shadow DOM. The fact that Shoelace uses shadow DOM, it makes actually a few things harder. So the only way to style it is to override CSS variables, as we were going through this here. So first is that Shoelace, it uses a lot of color variables for sensible defaults to our components. So here I have defined primary colors for my app in my own variables, and I'm pointing to them here. So we can see how it would look without those variables overridden. So with default, let's see actually. Yeah, our CSS is repeating automatically, as I said. We are watching for changes. So yes, so these are the default colors for the primary colors. For Shoelace, we also have we have our own customized border here. So let's, without any distinction, comment those variables out as well. And as you can see, this is how it would look without any customization. Button still looks like that because I have done things like that. So fortunately or not, I don't like it, to be honest. This is CSS shadow parts API. So basically how it works is that you can use shadow DOM. You can explicitly name a part in your shadow DOM that is possible to style, and then you can use selectors like that to style it. So this is for the Shoelace button, obviously. So if I comment only this part out, we will see that it looks rather different. Hover still works because I didn't comment it out. So if I comment out it both, yes, we have, that's our default look, and we have similar things for other components as well. So dialog that I didn't show yet. Yeah, we'll see that. This is for the interesting or not flash of unstyled component, I believe. Yeah, flash of unstyled component, I think it was. I can also actually show it. So let's see, let's maybe do some throttling, make our network slower. Yeah, so as you could see, it took a while to show our select, but Without it, it will be even worse. So let's see. Yeah, as you could see, for a while we can see various strange things that are part of our components and are visible for a while before the definition of our web components is loaded using index.js. But thanks to that, this is just more specialized version for the Shoelace select. We just don't see it, which is way better. Yeah. So let's turn the logic off. Let's go back to our customized look. So let's uncomment it. Yeah, that's wrong. Okay. Should work. Let's see. Yeah, it looks nice again. Alright, so let's choose, or maybe, yeah, before choosing it, as we were going through these elements, we have the options there are so Shoelace component. So let's see how it is all created together. So here we have the main page, we have Shoelace select here, and inside we have categories HTML, and basically we take a Shoelace option, value is book value, name is book name, and we have these options created server side, as you can see. Let's select some. When we click see books, as you can see, we use HTMX and we specify only target. For us, this is almost our whole body. Almost, because yeah, I have created div here for it, not the whole body, because at the bottom we have error dialog somewhere here. It's hidden. We'll show it in a while. And we also don't need to override HX trigger because it works with the Shoelace button. It emits regular quick events, so we don't need to do anything here. So see books. Our HTML was changed, and in the network, we send a request to the books economics endpoint, and we got the HTML fragment in the response, as you can see. And for more interesting things, here's HTML fragment, but refreshing the page, we'll get the whole HTML page. Obviously, we can differentiate that on the backend side, because going back, if we choose economics or any category, if you go to the network, you can see that request headers, we have a few HTMX, it adds a few useful headers. One of them is HX request, and if it's true, we know on our server that HTMX is triggering the request, so we should return partial HTML, not full. So if we go to books.js, we have books category endpoint, and everywhere essentially we have this return full or partial HTML function, and we build HTML for the part of the page, but here if it comes from HTMX, we return those just HTML that we got there, but if it's not HTMX requesting full page reload is required, we return the full page. So we take this body and wrap it in our full HTML. Yeah, here we almost don't have any Shoelace components, so this is regular HTML, but here we have a special block that if I click it, we'll see error dialog, as you can see. And what we did here, we have error dialog, which comes from Shoelace. Yeah, a few things are actually customized here. And when we know to show it is basically we have this global init.js. Here we have some component state. It's for the state of the components. Yeah, let's actually jump a little if you don't mind. So here, as you can see, economics is saved. If I refresh the page, nothing is selected, but if I choose psychology, go here, go back, it is remembered. It's because of this component. Yes, so we have a few things here. Also to remember the scroll position, not that important here, but basically here we have error dialog. So HTMX has this response error event, and basically when it happens when we get non 200 response, and here we don't we get 400, because this is how I've programmed it to do so, to show it. And in the response we are getting HTML error, which basically we render here. And here's the definition of the Shoelace dialog. Quite simple, and we are modifying, I believe, this part. Yes, we can try to find it. Yeah, we have this here. This is a function because this guy, this init JS, we have it in the head section of HTML. Not necessary, but can it be also here? I could also place it here, to be honest. Yeah, but in any case, we also had scroll position saved here. This is because if I go back, let's do it one more time. If I go back, as you can see, we are also issuing new requests to the backend for the books, so we do need to handle scroll position on our own. There is also an option to for HTMX to remember the previous pages, but it has its own quirks, so I would rather not use it. But if you don't use it, you need to handle scroll position yourself, as we go here. But let's go to the book page, and as you can see, we have a book here. You can purchase the book. So if I click here, I have a dialog shown here, also coming from Shoelace. It is similar to it is the same component as error dialog, but customized differently. So we have similar close part, but we have form here, HTMX form. As you can see, well, what is nice about it is that we have the form, we have Shoelace input components, but we do have inline validation here. So as you can see, when I start to type, I can see when I start to type, there is validation as I type. So in the response, got the error that we are just rendering here, or if I put the right one, actually, it goes away, as you can see. And it is the same for here. I start to write, and once it's valid, it's proper, we don't have an error, which is great because we don't have any validation on the front-end side, only on the back-end, but it says still in line, so we have feedback as we go. And how it is done, it is basically done as it's usually done with the HTMX. So here we have book offer form, and basically we have special endpoint to validate email or to validate preferred payment here, and on Shoelace input event, when it is changed, we wait for the arbitrary 500 milliseconds, and if user is not typing, we send the input. And how we can see it is that if I type, nothing is sent. When I stop typing, it is sent, as you can see. So let's pay Bitcoin maybe. Here I will input some email, and we can get an offer right now. Yeah, so offer was sent. This is our success dialog, and yeah, I think that's mostly it. As you can see, the Shoelace components, they play rather nicely with HTMX. The only thing that I didn't like that much, to be honest, is this customization part by the use of shadow CSS parts and many custom properties / variables. In the CSS, I would much rather prefer to have to not have shadow DOM and style it by just adding regular CSS classes, but it's still quite nice. The documentation is rather comprehensive, so you can find most things. Yeah, guys, so I think that's it. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I see you in the next one. Cheers!